Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jamie. You know, there's going to be elements of your business that you're not going to enjoy at every stage of the game. And sometimes that can be the monotonous tasks that you do. Sometimes it can be the personalities that you have to deal with. Other times it can just be the fact that you've done the same thing over and over again for a billionth time, and you've decided that for whatever reason, you no longer enjoy this aspect to the same degree as you once did. Now, that happened to me in 2023, and there was a lot of last year that I really didn't enjoy from a business perspective. And it kind of led me to a place that was pretty dark. I really wasn't getting fulfillment out of my business. I wasn't really enjoying creating content or writing emails or even like some of the coaching stuff I was doing. I really wasn't seeking that or feeling that same sense of joy that I was in the years prior. So lo and behold, there's either two options that you have when you're faced with this. Number one is you basically go along with it, keep smashing your head on a brick wall and waiting for the brick wall to either crack or alternatively your head to explode, I guess. Alternatively, option number two, which is what I've decided to do, is pivot your business. Now, this means that it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. It can be very, very painful when you first go about it, but it is obviously one of those things where once you've done it, it allows you to focus in on what you can in order to grow your business the way that you want to. So what I'm going to do now is hop over to my computer. I'm going to show you guys what my plan is for 2024, what I'm aiming to build, and the goals that I've set for myself. And I'd love for you guys to be part of the ride. So I will catch you over there in a minute. I'm going to run through what my goals are for this year, how I intend to make that happen, and a couple of the things that I think might pop up along the way that I'm going to have to get around. And also just to give you guys a bit of an insight as to why I've made the shift in my business, and I guess what you can as well. Plus, I'm also going to be covering some of the acquisition processes that I'm going to be using in order to help you guys out as well. And of course, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about this, I'm going to leave a link below. Feel free to click that to check out what I'm up to and register to become my next success story. All right. All that being said, what is my goal? Okay. So I've been very fortunate with my online business. And for those of you that don't know me, I cracked $1 million in 2021 as part of the team with Super Affiliate Accelerator. That was with myself and two other gentlemen, Jacob Karras and Chris Donnelly. Full disclosure, I didn't hit the million myself. I was not a business owner. However, the award represents us going from 0 to 1 million in 14 months. So I say that to paint a little bit of context. Now, I've been very fortunate with my online business. I've managed to have a couple of 50K plus months. And like I say, in the interest of transparency, not every month is going to be 50K. In fact, I've found that over the last couple of years, as my business has adjusted to a couple of different things, and perhaps I've lost a team member at one point, or perhaps I've made an adjustment to something else, or taken on too many students too quickly, that income unfortunately has sort of wavered around. So it's been sitting between around about 20 to 40K-ish over the last couple of years. And so my goal is to stabilize at the $50,000 per month mark. So one of the reasons for this change is I found that with the high-ticket affiliate marketing space and high-ticket coaching is it's great when you knock over a $5,000, $2,000, $10,000 coaching client or student as your commission. Is obviously incredible, right? But one of the problems with that is it's this feast or famine mode. And what would happen is I would have a huge big breakout month. I'd make 30 to 50K. I'd be like, yay, life is good. And then I'd find the next month, because I wasn't sustaining that sense of energy going into a launch or a promo cycle, whatever it was, that my income would drop. Now, what I will say as well is, of course, my level of dropping has changed over the years. It has my barometer has been set a little bit higher, and I do have some recurring income coming into my business as well. So it wasn't like completely done and dusted. It wasn't like 50K then zero. It was more like 50K then 20K, and so I just found that really hard to cope with from a mindset perspective, going from like feast to famine each and every month. So my goal for this year is by the end of the year, I want to hit 50,000 USD in recurring income. Well, sorry, a monthly income, I should say. So that is my goal. Now, what I wanted to discuss is how I'm going to make that happen. So this is something that I've basically been modeling a couple of different business models. My very good friend, Jake Karras, is one, James Kemp's another, Travis Sargo. A lot of those guys, they have a high ticket recurring coaching offer. And I think it's a great business model, something that I avoided doing for a long time, quite simply because A couple of reasons. One is I basically just didn't want to copy everyone else, right? I didn't want to go and go, hey, you do that, I'm going to do that. So I wanted to kind of blaze my own pathway, to be fair. And I guess in doing so, one of the cool things is I was able to go and experiment what I wanted and what I found was going to be right for me and my business. One of the downsides of that, though, is I ended up building a business that at the later stages became very unfun to operate. So the way that I'm going to be building this out is a little bit different. I'm going to be taking on high ticket recurring clients. So high ticket recurring clients. So I'm only going to need around about 50 of those, okay? 50 of those to hit my revenue goal, and that's pretty cool, right? And I think in a world this size, with this many online entrepreneurs, with the experience that I do have, this should be relatively simple to acquire. Having said that, I've broken it into tranches. I'm not going to go into the specific numbers here, but I've broken it into tranches in order to maintain a healthy flow of influx of new clientele, in order to then build this business in the way that I choose to, without burning myself out or feeling like I need to go from 0 to that 50 straight away. Now, here's the cool thing. It's going to be at a simple $100 a week, right? Meaning that I actually only need a handful of these before I've got some really nice recurring income coming in as well. So it's pretty easy to hit the 5K, 10K per month recurring aspect when you're getting this type of volume coming through. And of course, you are going to be dealing with things like the attrition rate of this as well. Now, this is also in accordance with that. There's another component of that, which is basically that there is a 3K pay in full as well, right? So they can either go on the 52 weeks times 100, so 5,200 for the year, or a 3K pay in full. And like I say, this is going to be done with tranches. So it means that the first 15 or so are going to be at 100, next 15 will be at a different pricing point, so on and so forth, right? So that's the first part. Next part is what we're going to do is I'm also going to have something that is something I've been teaching my students inside my Ultimate Marketing Mastermind program as well for a very long time. I often talk about LTV, lifetime customer value. Now, before I go any further, completely forgot to mention that nothing changes with my Ultimate Mastermind. I'm still going to be hosting that. That's more catered for coaches and high-ticket affiliates. This is a little bit different. It's more close contact and less moving parts to build this type of business out. So, like I say, my goal 50K for my students, what I'm aiming to do is get them to between 250 and 500K per annum, working around about 4 days or less in their business, and quite simply being able to produce as much or as little content as they choose in order to acquire the clients that they want, as well as being able to take time off and go on vacation, all that type of stuff, without worrying that they're all of a sudden going to have completely no income whatsoever, right? So that's the whole premise behind this. Now, here's the thing. Going back to LTV, this is the reason why this is really, really powerful. And like I say, tip of the hat to the folks I mentioned before for kind of getting me onto this way of thinking. I think it's really powerful. But something that I've known for a long time is your customers are likely to buy from you again if they've had a good experience. It's as simple as that. In fact, I think Adobe put out a survey some years back, and they discovered that your existing buyers are 60 to 70% more likely to buy based off your recommendation future. Okay, so what that means is that if you make a small commitment in terms of a small purchase, I should say, that means that it's highly probable that that person is going to buy some more stuff later when they come up with some new problem arising. So it's quite hard to establish a new customer relationship. It's very easy to establish a small customer relationship with a low barrier of entry item, meaning that you give a disproportionate amount of value up front. They are way more likely to buy your coaching, your other courses, your affiliate offers, all that type of stuff. Like I say, this is something that I've taught for many, many years anyway. It's just something that has really come into fruition when it comes to this stuff as well. So the whole goal with this is to sell a low ticket workshop, right? So I've got lots of training on low ticket workshops. I've done a bunch of them myself. I've been part of mentorships that teach just low ticket workshops as well. The whole works. I've got programs on the exact topic as well. And so why this is really cool is that the design of this is to create a buyer, to create a customer. And the reason for that is, like I say, it's a lot easier to send someone who's spent a little bit of cash with you to that next thing than just saying, hey, random stranger, give me $100 a week. Sure, it's still not going to be a huge challenge to fill it up if I was just going straight into the high ticket without the ascension from the front end. But this just helps to ease that along the way. There's something else here. is, sorry, I forgot to mention this as well. There is going to be a second tier above that. So second tier, oh my goodness. And that is quite simply where what I'm looking to do is for folks that want a little bit more proximity, they perhaps want a little bit more support, then there's going to be another tier I'm going to take on total of clients max for one-on-one support on top of that, right? So now we're starting to get some pretty cool numbers happening for that. It's going to be at $300 per week for the first tranche, moving up to 400 later on and maybe higher henceforth up. So that's kind of the game plan at this stage. And that's why these small numbers of clients can produce big, huge profits, right? This is kind of how we start. Now, of course, I'm not going to go into the specific mathematics behind this. There is other things there in terms of the tranches and all that type of stuff. We kind of get the idea of where I get that stuff. Now, the workshops, here's the cool part. Is if I sell a workshop on, say, offer creation or content creation or email marketing or funnel building or cash flow strategies or, you name it, whatever else is out there that I can produce content on, then what I can also do is look to ascend some of those folks. So we're actually going to be leveraging something, again, I teach a lot of this inside my Ultimate Marketing Mastermind. I'll be teaching this inside my new thing. It's called the Sanctum of Success, by the way. Supply and demand, right? Economics 101. So here's the thing. We as marketers, if we're out there building an audience and we are helping folks out with things and we're producing this type of content and perhaps we're in the DMs sometimes, we send an email, blah, blah, and we are helping people out in a genuine level as best as we possibly can with our current status and current equipment, all that type of stuff. What happens is we build equity within our audience, okay? And so what happens off the back of that is then we can start to leverage supply and demand. So if the clients that are paying $100 a week, they get group coaching, they get all this stuff, they're going to help build an incredible business themselves. On the back of that, for the folks that want a little bit more proximity and the folks that jump into the front end workshops as well, they're going to want a little bit more. And they're going to want that next problem to be solved. The workshops are designed to solve a specific issue within their business. They get that solved, they go and implement it as best as they can, then they're going to need more help to the next thing, right? Super powerful. Now, here's the thing. We're going to leverage supply and demand. So if I know that every week, or let's say on average, I'm able to sell, let's say 10 of these workshops, right? It's not a huge hurdle to overcome, not in the grand scheme of things. So 10 per week. Now, what that means is that I've got, let's say, roughly 40 over the course of the month. So 40 low-ticket workshops where they are 27, 50, 100, right? But here's a kicker. Now, leveraging supply and demand. If I want to take in 5 new clients each and every, what happens? I say, guess what? I'm taking on 5 new clients every month. And now, guess what? There's 40 people that have experienced these workshops, and I'm creating my own economic environment. So I'm saying, hey, there's 40 folks here, but I'm limiting the supply of my coaching and my time and my energy. And so by doing that, I'm creating my own economic. I'm saying, hey, here's 5 spots. There's 40 people in this thing. Make sure you jump in fast if you want to achieve XYZ goal, right? Now, that starts with a really badass offer as well. Of course, if you've got a crappy offer, but you can also go lower. You can go two folks. It really doesn't matter. 5 new coaching students, 2 new folks, whatever it is, right? And so, again, we are creating our own economy here, which is really, really powerful. Now, what that also means is that if we have, in the off chance, people would drop off here, right? Unlikely, but I'm a realist. And if that does happen, people start to drop off, well, that's okay because we are in a state of being oversubscribed. Okay. Now, what that means is effectively, if I have something that is in high demand, because I know it's really, really powerful, it's going to help a bunch of folks out. And there's a whole bunch of folks over here and they're like, yeah, I want that. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready to release any more spots just now. And then someone else disappears. Guess what? Another spot's just opened up, right? So it means that when you do this and you have this type of mechanism in place, it allows you to basically keep your pipeline filled at all times. Now, this is something I learned from, school really, but it was echoed recently in a book called Oversubscribed by Daniel Priestley. Highly recommend it. That talks about this exact principle as well. Now, I wanted to go into a couple of the obstacles just to kind of like give you guys a bit of a heads up. The first one for me was I've been coaching on Zoom my UMM folks, my Ultimate Marketing Mastermind people. So I've been coaching a few of those guys for quite a while. Now, admittedly, a lot of them all of them, bar a couple, have expired in terms of the allotted time and all that type of stuff. So it meant that I had pretty much had to wait till everyone was in a state of expiry before I was able to pretty much like chop it, so to speak. So that was a little bit emotional, I will admit, because obviously in doing so, I want to help folks out. I don't want to leave anyone in the lurch. And like I say, on the other side of that, I also need to operate a business. And if I'm not at my best, I'm not enjoying the process, then you need to make moves, right? So end of the story is basically everyone that was in there, they were, got time and above after a lot of time had expired anyway, so it wasn't such a big deal. But it was something that I still had to go through as well. Number two was, for me, I've been spending conservatively, let's say 5-6 years building my audience around affiliate marketing. And I don't really want to serve that market anymore. And so for me, I've now spent all my time and energy building this affiliate marketing audience. I now need to leverage the skills that I've developed over the years to start to build a slightly different type. Now, what that means is that some of those affiliate marketers are going to want to come with me. They're going to want to build their own coaching and all that type of stuff, which is awesome. Love you guys. Some of them will not. That's completely fine. But what it means is I effectively have to treat this like I'm starting from scratch. So when I'm putting offers out there, it's kind of like starting from scratch again. Not many people are going to be in that same market to want what I'm offering at this current stage of my business as well. So that is a massive obstacle I need to overcome. Now, the other one for me is at some stage, in order to really ramp up the numbers that I'm going to need in order to build this business the way that I want, I'm going to need to run some ads. Now, here's the crazy thing. I used to run ads professionally. I had my own, I say agency. It was more like I was just running ads on behalf of a small business until Facebook basically sent me back to the dark ages with my ad account. So that means that I was no longer able to advertise on Facebook. I have used all sorts of mechanisms to try and get around that. And unfortunately, I'm still in a state of lockdown. So that kind of sucks. So it means that if I'm going to do that, I have to go onto the likes of YouTube, which is fine. It's a huge marketplace. The other one, of course, is the old TikToker. It's probably where I'll head to be. It's so weird that it does have anyway, whatever. And other ad networks, right? So the Microsoft and all that type of stuff, right? Now, here's the thing. In my experience, I've had some success with YouTube and the old Googly, but you need budget. Right. So I need to set aside a significant chunk of budget, I feel, in order to basically go and do this successfully on YouTube. Right. So you need budget to test. Once you've got things working and your offer is working, your hook is working, all that type of stuff, your ads are actually working, it's highly, highly, highly profitable. It's just getting to that point can be a bit of a mission as well. So this is uncharted territory for me. TikTok, I do face a few challenges. Number one is I'm based in Australia, and the way that the TikTok side of things works, unless I've got a US-based IP, I cannot advertise in the US, which I think is just obscenely ridiculous. But for the time being, it means that I'm very restricted about where I can advertise if I choose to do that. I believe I may have found a way to work around that at the moment, but we'll see. We'll find that out, right? So that's another one. But again, it's also budget related is going to be another issue. So budget and locale are the big ones. Other ad networks, pretty much the same thing realistically. Also, the efficacy of some of them might not be to the same degree. Thinking like Pinterest, for example, it might be a slight mismatch in my audience. Plus, I'm always really aware of that saying, the hound that chases many rabbits catches none. And so I'm obviously aware of that and not spreading myself too thin. It kind of defeats the purpose of having this business. I wanted to go back up here with a one-person team. Clear calendar for... Right. That's pretty much it. Right. So why the change? Now, going to get a little bit vulnerable with you guys. 2023 had its, how would I put it? Had its frustrations. I found certain elements of 2023 quite difficult. A couple of things. One is I had gone from building a business with both my wife and I. She's now building her own empire and absolutely crushing it with it too, but might I add, which is really, really cool to see. But in order for me to then take on board all that stuff, all the tasks that I had outsourced, it meant that I had to then take that on. And then that left me with this thing, well, okay, that's actually quite a lot of stuff. I didn't realize how much had been taken off my plate previously. So that meant that I'm like, well, this isn't, great. I mean, it's great if I'm an affiliate, because if I'm just an affiliate and I'm just referring business to someone else, then of course I can manage it. But as a product vendor, it was really tricky. I had to update modules, had to keep on top of all the admin stuff, all the support emails, inboxes, groups, you name it, managing personnel. There was also all sorts of stuff which I found really, really challenging as a solopreneur. Now I do have a VA, but he basically does lead gen stuff for me and manages my group. So it's a little bit different for that. So that was the major thing that I found. Also got to the point where and I've been doing Facebook organic marketing for 4 or 5-ish years by now. And I got to this point where I was looking at what I was up to. I was looking at my screen, I was looking at some of the personalities and just the bravado of some folks. And there's so many people out there that have really done absolutely nothing. And they're selling things that I personally don't think they should be. Selling horrendously overpriced packages for things that they just haven't done themselves. And I thought, I don't know if I can be part of this world to the same degree anymore. Now, as ironic as that is and perhaps hypocritical, because here I am developing my own coaching offer, but a little bit different when you've actually done a few things online. So hopefully I don't add to the problem. I'm going to be part of the solution moving forward. The other thing was I really lost my passion, and that's a tricky thing to find. But even me producing content, me writing stuff, me writing my content and my emails and things like that, I found it started to become challenging. And for me, I'm usually pretty good at creating stuff, just kind of comes to me. And when I don't have that, then I know that there's something really sorely missing, right? Plus the other part of it is I stopped enjoying it. I really, really just stopped enjoying rocking up. I couldn't, for all the help that I was giving folks, I felt like I was being used so much of the time. And that was really hard. I felt like, people had sort of, and I'm completely at fault of this as well. I allowed it to happen, but I didn't. Basically, people weren't respecting my boundaries, and I let that happen, and then that ended up biting me in the butt. I kind of just burnt out as a result. So that was kind of the major changes. Then I thought, well, okay, I now know, and I basically sat down over the Christmas period, and I wrote down, as weird as this sounds, I wrote down everything I don't want. Like, what don't I want? And it was a big list. I'm like, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. And once I became clear about what I didn't want, it was actually really easy for me to go, oh, well, that's, as a byproduct, that's actually what I really do want. And so I started to map out what the perfect looks like for me. And so this is the manifestation of it. Now, that was how it all came together. And that's basically my goal. That's what I'm aiming to do, is basically build this business. I don't know why I chose 50K. It just felt like something that was quite achievable over a year or so. And I'm doing it in a piece by piece basis. I'm not looking to rush into anything too crazily. I'm building things out really, really slowly, and I'm just really looking at the challenge. The other thing that I thought in terms of the change aspect is I really just wanted to basically ascend who I serve. And what I mean by that is I'm still going to be an affiliate. I still have my programs, Ultimately Mastermind. No changes there at all. I'm still looking to do some pretty cool stuff with that. But I know that when I've been able to give people, literally one of my very good friends wanted some help with content. And so I sent him around about 8 minutes worth of voice clips to him, and he uses that as pretty much his entire marketing game plan. And that has led to him in the first sort of 6 months or so, 500. Another one is my wife, bless her, who's decent income by now. And a lot of what she did was from basically me being able to help her craft an offer, write copy, things like that. Obviously, she did all the work. It's her baby, not from her. I guess the point that I'm trying to raise is that I realized that once you've cut your teeth in this business, in terms of affiliate marketing, things like that, it is universal in nature. You can take it to absolutely any business because it's the exact same stuff. It's just plonking business, right? So that was the other thing. I just wanted to evolve it. So those are kind of the main things. The other thing I'm just going to run through real quickly here is sort of like how the process goes. So at the moment, I've got my unit, my group here, and nothing much is going to change. So I've still got my profile over there. I'm sending from my stories, from my reels, all that type of stuff. I'm sending over to my group. I've got a landing page there, which captures leads. It allows me to collect data and emails, so I can nurture those relationships via email. Email's a bit of an awkward looking one. And conversely, if people want help or they're interested in getting some information, either myself or my VA will reach out to the messenger as well. Now, once they're in my group, they've got the 3 questions there, right? Data mining, basically, and I use that for my content. So my content also does another job of nurturing these folks. Well, it's an arrow. Kind of get the idea. Now, everything that happens over the other side, this is where high ticket, plus I understand not everyone needs a high ticket offer.
Sometimes they just need one tiny little problem of their business solved. So guess what? If you go to jamiegardner.com/scale, there is 8 or so different products that you can. So I direct folks over to that to solve those specifics. Now, that's my current business model. Nothing really changes as far as that goes. One other aspect is, as your business grows, by the way, you're going to start getting like YouTube, you're going to start getting your old potty waddies, your blogos, whatever you want. Pinterest, if you're interested in that. Snapchat, if that's still a thing. TikTok. What else is there? Twitter, although X, so change that sideways, so on and so forth, right? So if you're directing everything through one centralized place, just means that you're, as Russell tells us, that's a funnel, right? It's going to go through the top, do the thing. So nothing much changes from my perspective. I've still got, 5,500 people in my group. It's going to be an interesting transition as I kind of move further and further away from the affiliate stuff in terms of my content. I'll probably get a lot of drop off. There's a lot of folks that just jump into there to do lead generation stuff, rather than actually just growing their own audience, but go figure. And so, there's a lot of that type of stuff. And so I will have a bit of drop off, but moving forward, it's going to look relatively similar. I'll still have my group as my centralized point. But you idea. Still going to have my YouTube, still going to have my podcast, still going to have all that stuff, etc. Profile, stories, etc., TikTok, all pointing there. But the acquisition process is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to have a bit of a cadence to it. So as I get new leads in here, they're going to go through this sideways blender looking thing over here. But then I'm also going to launch my little workshops, and these are going to be anywhere from $27 up to $100, low ticket stuff. I'm probably going to roll out one of those around about every month-ish, give or take. And then, of course, that then leads me to go, okay, well, I've got X number of buyers here, and I've got a hard deadline for when I'm capping out intake into my program here. And so I'm going to know, okay, I had 15 people jump in. So that means I've probably got scope to fill maybe 2 to 3 spots over here. 2 to 3, bang, fill those nice and easy. And that's it, right? So now, same sort of process. I'm a little bit more relaxed about this type of stuff here. Also pushing YouTube back to the email, things like that as well. And that means that on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis, I can knock out one of these, start to ascend a couple of these folks into that when the timing is right for folks. That's it. Really, really simple, right? So anyway, guys, look, I really appreciate you tuning into this sort of very relaxed sort of presentation here. I really appreciate you guys. Drop any comments. Let me know if any of this resonates for you, if you felt any of the stuff that I've felt in terms of wanting to pivot, things like that. And of course, feel free to hit subscribe if you got any value out of this, and hit me up. Hit me in the socials if you'd like info on this particular offer, what I'm looking to build. If you'd like to build something similar yourself, I'm always open. That's it, guys. Appreciate you all. Thanks so much. Have a great day. See you in the next one.